But just the first point about why you're here, we just want to emphasize for the record, it's not a race day, no trophies, you know, all the usual stuff that we say. So we want you to get the maximum enjoyment out of your day, and that requires patience in the morning. So we appreciate that in advance. I just want to say that. So you're here to learn. By the way, as the wonderful thing about the track is that it's, as you guys, you hear all the comments made in those smooth rider interviews and stuff, this is a fixed environment. This is the one chance in your street riding experience where you can control 99% of what happens. So as you continue to come to class and learn things in class and apply them in like 1% increments. It's okay, once you learn about going deep into a corner or coming out hard in a corner, well, don't try it haul an ass the first time out. Work at it gradually, small incremental steps. That way you still have a cushion to work within and a margin for error. So that's why we talk about that whole inside passing rule. When you start to get more comfortable with passing somebody on the outside, well, great. And if you pushed a little too hot, well, because you didn't go all the way to the outside edge, because you know what your line's supposed to be, well, now you've got a margin of error to work with. If you overcooked a little bit, you know to just stand the bike up, keep riding the brakes out. You might go off the track a couple of feet in the dirt, no big deal. You're not panicking because you've got this margin for error. You get right back on the track, your day isn't ruined. Okay, you can get right back out there. Now you're charged because you went off the track and you lived to tell about it, and now you're awesome. Your next lap is going to be the best lap time of the day. Sorry. So that's what we want to shoot for. Incremental improvement throughout the day. Don't try to do it all in the first lap of the first session. Another thing about corner entry speed through this page, it makes a really, really good point, and it has to do with basic physics. There's my wife calls it cartoon physics, where, you know, in the ideal world anything can happen, but on the racetrack the laws are very fixed and you are held to those laws. So your contact patch, as you're going into a corner, when you're leaned over, say halfway, and you still got some trailing brake because you're comfortable with trailing brake, that's great. And having too much speed at that point isn't a problem. But when you're fully committed to your lean angle and you're going through that corner, well, now inertia can become your enemy. If you had too much corner speed going in, and now you have to set your corner, you set your lean angle because you're running out of track. Well, if you went in too fast, now that speed is going to continue to push you off the track. So that's why we say turning in or too much corner entry speed can be dangerous, because it eliminates that margin for error that you need to have to work with. So please think about that, going in slow, and that sets you up better to come out harder and faster. And that's what results in better lap times. Any racer can tell you. Now obviously as the day goes on, you can move those braking points farther or closer to the corner. You can increase that corner entry speed. You can increase that lean angle as you go to the apex of the corner. But the general rule is still going to always apply. Inertia at some point is going to limit the traction of that contact patch. No matter how good you are, you cannot overcome physics. So that set speed at your corner, when you set your angle for the mid-corner speed, that's got to be in a safe zone, or you're going to crash and your day's over. So we want you to think about that now, because every single track day, we have 2 or 3 guys who bone their bike on the first or second session of the day, and it just sucks. And we want everybody to have a blast. To help you, they say the easiest way to eat an elephant is to bite it off one bite at a time, right? You don't get overwhelmed by the whole thing. You just look at manageable pieces. And that's the same thing with this track. I mean, especially when you're trying to learn lines on a track that's designed to be very technical and to fool experienced drivers. That's the whole point of the layout of this track. It's a training track. So in the handout that we gave you, there's a page that talks about turn sets, about basically breaking it up into 2 or 3 turns. Like 1 and 2 are great. That whole 3, 4, 5 section, work on. So you spend a few laps just working on one turn set. Get that down, and then you move on to the next set. And that way you don't feel overwhelmed, and as you get faster and faster during the day, you don't have bad habits get you in trouble. All right, so I suggest that 3, 4, 5 are a great set. 6 is kind of standing all by itself. 7, 8, 9, this one's kind of tricky too, especially 7. If you don't get 7 right going into 7, you're all screwed up on 8, and then you're all sketchy coming into 9. I see a lot of guys during the end of the day, just from experience, they get frustrated by this section, but they're trying to still get fast, and so they really start pushing it here, and they start going off into the weeds out here. You see who that photographer was out there? They end up out here, just because they haven't figured this section out yet.
One good thing that I do here is, in 4, I run it tight, and then I run out wide towards the left-hand side of the track. And that really, and I stay pretty wide, about till here, and then cut in. Yeah, it's one of those things that you want to be here and swing out wide. And like I was saying, you use the track. You know, use all of the track to your advantage. And you're just going to swing out wide here, and it sets you up perfectly to be right on the inside of 5. So it's just swing out wide, back in. You know, it's really, it just accentuates the lines. For me, I've learned that early on, and it really helps just flow through that corner, and it's going to bring your corner speed. It's going to make you feel more comfortable because you're not going to be coming in, you know, tighter, and that's going to set you up really wide.
The thing that I noticed just riding around with a few of you guys, and it's one thing that's just really easy to do, is you know, basically on the exit of the corners, you don't realize how much more track you have out wide. You know, on certain spots of track coming out of 10, you can run basically just out
right
wide,
out to the edge.
just right out to the edge. You know, a lot of guys are just kind of cutting it off and running to the inside. You don't have to. I mean, you can really increase your speed coming out of the corner and just really flowing, really floating those lines. Just really helps.
Hey guys, you know, I was talking to a couple of people outside about this. This track, the bike's going to move around on this track. Due to the sealer everywhere, you're going to have to cross it at some point. You're going to have to hit it at some point. There's no way you're going to make a lap on this track and your bike is going to feel perfectly smooth and confident everywhere. It's not going to happen. There are corners where it's going to twitch and move, but you need to let it twitch and move. Don't try and force it, you know, because you're just going to upset the bike. Let it move around, let it do its thing. You know, obviously if you start sliding or something, correct the problem, stand the bike up, do what you need to do. But if you're feeling little twitches and little bumps and stuff, that's perfectly normal. Don't worry about that stuff, guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey guys, all those double apex, they're patient corners too. You can't hit that first apex and just get back in the gas.
Right.
You have to roll into it smoothly and have, you know, constantly build it. That's not a problem if you're constantly rolling on the throttle, if you get that comfortable. But you need to be smooth about it. You can't just, all right, I'm going to go in it, because otherwise you're going to have to stop the bike and then return it in. You want to make it all one turn and all one smooth motion. You know, you should hold, once you get in there and clip that first corner, you should hold almost the same lean angle all the way through there and just be slowly applying throttle. And at this point, a lot of you guys, you may just want to crack into maintenance throttle and just like give it a little bit of gas and kind of coast through there and get your line and feel out where you are and what kind of lean angle you want, and then accelerate off that second apex. But as you get more and more comfortable, you might find that you can get into it a little earlier and slowly get it on all the way through there.